If you're running one or more Proxmox nodes in your home lab like I am, I've got 4 running at the moment, then you're going to relate to this. You've got multiple browser tabs opened. I guarantee you that you've called them PVE1 like me. So you've got 4 browsers with PVE1. You're trying to figure out where you built workloads, where your containers are. You're trying to check storage and RAM. And then when it comes to doing updates, you have to go across each of those nodes to start doing some updates. This thing starts to become a fully fledged full-time job managing your own home lab. Proxmox have just come out with a tool called Proxmox Datacenter Manager. It's been out a few months now. It's on version 1.1 at the moment. This is their answer to the likes of vCenter for VMware. You've got Prism for Nutanix, and maybe SCVMM for Hyper-V. So it's a single pane of glass that you can use to manage all of your Proxmox nodes and clusters. Now it is quite a young product. It doesn't have a lot of major features just yet, but I am pretty confident that down the line this thing is going to be really good, especially if you can start to build and deploy workloads through this tool. Today I want to take a look at the tool. We're going to go through it, we're going to build it, we're going to look at the UI, we're going to check it out and genuinely just see if it's any good. So this is the Datacenter Manager product, and as you can see, this is the UI on the right hand side here. Proxmox Datacenter Manager is a centralized management solution to oversee and manage multiple nodes and clusters of Proxmox. If you look down here, it sort of gives us an idea of why we will love the tool. It's single pane of glass. This is all good. Central cockpit, we have multi-cluster management, live migration, with deep integration with Proxmox backup server. That's one tool I really need to test and get up and going. Now that I have more and more nodes and clusters, I do need to build a proper backup solution. Maybe another video, let me know if you want to see that. So let's go across over into the documentation. This is all of the documentation about the platform. It tells us how to go through the install, the minimum system requirements. You can see the technology stack. Everything you need to know about this platform is here, and it even gives you some stuff around the GUI as well, what it actually looks like, how to get logged in. This looks really interesting. I wish I had like 30 nodes that I could add to this so I could actually properly give it a good test. In order to get this thing installed, you have a few different options. You can go download the ISO and then build a fully fledged VM. It is pretty simple, your standard process. You upload the ISO to Proxmox, create a new VM, and you just follow through that. Or the other option, whereas you can actually come over and you can use the Proxmox helper scripts. There is an LXC container. There is a script there to create this. As you can see here, the Proxmox Datacenter Manager. It is updatable. All you have to do is come down here and copy the install script, then go back over to Proxmox, open up shell, and then all you have to do is simply just paste that in, hit enter, and it is going to take you through the install process. It is really simple to do. It asks you 2 questions. Where do you want to store the container image, and where do you actually want to store the container as well? Once it has finished the actual install of the LXC container, there's one simple thing you need to do. So you need to come back over here to the Proxmox helper script, and as you can see here under this notes, it's saying you need to set a root password if using auto login. So what you need to do is you need to go into the actual container itself and run that sudo password wd root. And then it's going to ask you to create a new password for the root account. It's really simple. So copy that script across here. You want to come back over into the actual container itself. You want to go in here into the console, and then that's where you paste it in and you enter your new password. Once you've done that, that means that now you can actually log into Proxmox Datacenter Manager. All you have to do is grab the IP address. You can see here this one is 1096.12.215. Now I already have that open, so all you have to do is come over here to this tab, and this is what it looks like. We're at the login screen now for Proxmox Datacenter Manager. Let's get logged in and we'll start to go through the GUI. We'll see what it looks like, but before we do that, I want to have a drink of this because it's going to get cold. This is it's Christmas in July. Okay, right, so this is what it looks like. This is what the UI looks like, and it does have that sort of similar Proxmox feel, which I like. On the left hand side here, you can see this is all of the options that we can go through. You can see this Datacenter Manager 1.14. I believe it went into sort of general release in December, and it did have some updates in May as well. So again, it is constantly being developed, so I really hope that there's going to be a lot more features and stuff involved in this. But as you can see, whenever you first open it up, generally whenever you open this thing up, you don't actually see any of this stuff. The reason I can see this stuff is because I went down here under the remote and I've added some of my Proxmox nodes. So I have my Proxmox cluster that I built a few months ago. That is the Proxmox cluster that I built using 2 Zimba boards. I'll link that below. That's a full entire Proxmox step-by-step cluster build if you want to see it. And I also have a lab Proxmox server that sits below my desk. That's just where I build all of these things for these videos and stuff. So here you go. You can see the 2 different nodes. That's PVE1 and PVE2, and then under this Proxmox lab you can see all of these guest containers and stuff. Whenever you've added all of those, that's when you start to get this dashboard view, like the remotes, the virtual environments. It says I've got 3 nodes added, the number of like running virtual machines and stuff, and then obviously the Linux container. So I've got 8 different containers running at the moment. This is where you can see the backup data, the backup server data storage. I don't have the backup server running, as I said earlier. I definitely want to get that up and going. This is the number of different subscriptions that I can use to get updates from Proxmox. I don't have a valid subscription. Maybe I should buy one of those actually. Anyway, look, this is really high level, just a dashboard of everything that's going on. Now the good thing that you can do is if you have like lots of different clusters running across your business, say you have a massive enterprise and you have 30-40 different clusters, you might want to create different views for different regions or different data centers or different areas or offices. You can easily do that under this views tab. So from in here you can add all of your different views. In here you give this a name. I can just call this test view. I can copy a layout from any of the other dashboards that are there, the home dashboard or the workloads. Or you can just start to create your own. If I click on add here, I can start to select things, like for example, say I wanted to select things from resource type. I wanted to see containers. I'll add something else. Maybe I'll add something like maybe remote. I'm gonna look at this Proxmox cluster. Then, oh, I have to put a dash in there. Then when you're done, all you have to do is click on add. And that is going to create that other dashboard page. Now, if you click into this, you can see it doesn't actually show anything here. So you have to click on this edit, and then you have to add a row. And that's whenever you get to add all your different widgets and things that you want. For example, I can go node panels. I'll go all nodes. Then I could do maybe something like task by category, guests, all guests, resource tree. I'll just add all this stuff. And you can start to see here now that it is giving me all of the information here. It's going to show all of this and build this dashboard based off those items that I selected whenever I actually created this. You keep going down, you'll see notes. This is where you can come in here and you can add some random notes and stuff as well. Keep going down, you see under configuration. This is where you can start to configure like stuff like time, DNS, network interfaces and stuff. Now this is for the Proxmox or the PDM server itself. So you can see here, this is everything that it has. This is the default gateway. Then you've got access control. This is the likes of like user management, API tokens, 2-factor authentications, permissions, realms, everything is there. I believe this is where you can come in here and you can add like Active Directory authentication. There is other ones here as well. Like if you have LDAP, you want to use that to connect to Eddy, that's there. Under subscription registry, this is where you could come in here and you can add some of your subscription keys. Say if you have some of the enterprise subscriptions for updates, you can add them here and then you can actually assign them to the various different nodes. This alone is unbelievable. I've been in large environments where I've had to keep track of all these different subscriptions. 9 times out of 10, whenever the vendor gives you the subscription name, the keys, or the description is just all over the place. So they're quite hard to keep track of. The fact that I can add them all in one place here and I can assign them to each of my nodes as I want, and I can actually see this is really good. If you move on down under administration, you can see the node status. This is for the PDM server itself, I believe. It is, yeah. System log, tasks, yeah, you can see all of the system logs from this tool. Shell, that's obviously a shell window. It gets you directly into this container. In here you've got SDN, this is for software defined networks. I would like to actually, I think this takes us, yeah, these just, if I click on those links, it just takes us over to the actual local network configuration on each of those nodes. If you're running self storage across your clusters, this is where you can come in here and you can actually monitor all of them. Now this is one of the bigger updates that they did in version 1.1. This just allows you to see the health of all of your storage right from this window instead of having to go to each of the nodes as well. I don't have Ceph running at the moment, but it should give you stuff like performance. It also gives you some information just around health and stuff like that as well. So this is a really good addition to the tool. If you come down here under guests, you can see this is all of the actual VMs, the containers, everything that you're running across the different remote nodes that you've added. As you can see, I have this Proxmox cluster, so I have got 4 different containers running across the 2 Zima boards right now, and then I have this lab server that I've been building, so I do need to move some of this stuff across over into this Proxmox cluster. And from in here, if you click into, it doesn't actually let you do a whole pile of this at all. I think you can actually, you can shut the containers down, you can take snapshots. If I hit migrate, that's going to allow me to migrate from one node to the other. Obviously, if you have 2 servers in a cluster, it only gives you the option. If you have a single node, you won't actually see this. So under this Proxmox cluster, you can see here, it's actually giving me the PVE1, and it's allowing me, I wonder if I just do this. Let's just hit migrate and see what happens. It still shows in PVE2 right now. Let's refresh. And we'll check that in a second, but over here then you have got the actual links to the actual server itself. So if you want to connect to this, well, you can see it's stopped now, and it's probably going to start again on PVE1. We'll come back to this in a second. It should, oh, there it is now. It's already running again. So that's now running the PVE1. So that was pretty handy. It's good that you can come in here and you can migrate things from one node to the other just from this window. I think this is where you will probably see the biggest amount of updates. Like, I would love to be able to come in here and actually build resources, have a centralized ISO store, have the ability to build things from this very top level and then push them down to the various different nodes. I would think that's probably the direction that we're going to go in with this product. Then if you go further down here under remotes, this is where you can come in here, you can add your different remote nodes. Again, it's just simple. All you do have to do is click on add, hit Proxmox VE, put in your server IP, and then it automatically finds the fingerprint. It asks you for your credentials, hit next, done, and that just adds it in here. Under tasks, this is obviously some of the tasks. You can see that it's actually happened. There you can see the migrate task that I created. Updates, this is if there's any updates that are available. Again, the biggest problem is I don't have any of the enterprise updates. Then you've got firewall. This is the firewall configuration that is on each of the nodes. Come in here, you can see if you've created any rules on the node itself. Again, it doesn't allow you to actually do it on this. It asks me to go and actually open up the firewall section within the node. Now the good thing is, it looks like it's redirected me to that page, and it's already allowed me to log in here because I hadn't previously logged into these. So that seems to be good. Other stuff that you can do here, you have got this automated installations, prepared answers. This is making me remember the old SBS migrations. If you're migrating small business server from one to the other, you would create your answer file, and it would just help as part of the build process. So it gives you answers to all of those standard questions that you get. So I think this prepared answer is whenever you're creating new containers and new VMs and stuff as well, this actually has this default answer file ready. Let's just go through and see what we can do. Let's see if we can just build some sort of temporary answer file and see what I can do. Admin email, I'm just going to do post installation action reboot. Okay, subscription key, network operations. So again, it's just going to use DHCP, or I can give it specific details. I think DHCP is probably the better option. Let's just tick this as well, FQDN from DHCP. Go next. The disk setup, so we can choose the type of disk that we want. Again, I don't think it actually can see the storage options that we have set up. So if I do ZFS, let's do SDA. Let's go target, filter. Let's go next. Templating, again, this is the template counters can be used to provide unique values. So next. I can see where this would be useful if you're in an enterprise, you're building lots of different servers and you wanted to make sure they were built in a consistent way, then this would be a good way to do that. Prepared answers, it basically just stops engineers from going left field and creating their own different configurations and own types. Then finish. overall, I think that's it. I think that's a quick rundown of the actual tool so far. In terms of some of the best features I think that you can get out of this right now, definitely the subscription keys, being able to monitor them and push them out to different nodes. Self storage monitoring as well. If you're running that across multiple different environments, that's pretty cool that you can see that there. I do like that I can see all of the guests across all of my nodes in one place. I just kind of wish there was more things that I can do within this window right now. Maybe this time next year we'll make another one of these videos, we'll compare and we'll see how much better the product has actually got. But anyway, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to Proxmox and you want to get started and you want to build your own Proxmox cluster, I've literally built a 3 video series where I go through an entire Proxmox cluster build. We built 2 Zima boards and a Raspberry Pi. That's it, sitting on my back shelf over here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really easy to do, and it's a good thing that just runs and it's very quiet. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.